This week, we toast to Toni Storm. She may have quit, but her ass just won't. Gentlemen, raise your beverages. It is an NXT party. Mini tribal.
What's up, Noah? That was for Jerry.
Oh, shit.
He was like, remember, Stefan, it's Owen. I was like, right, Noah Finch.
Noah Finch. Owen Foster.
Welcome, everybody, to the NXT party for episode number 84 of NXT UK. I am the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Good day, wrestling fans.
And our special guest on this episode, we've got Owen, the Talkinator, the Birdman of Boston, Finch.
Yes!
How's it going, Owen?
It's going great. So sorry if I sound echoey. I have my mic hooked up, but for some reason it's not lighting up, and I didn't have time to really adjust it before we started. So
you sound absolutely fine, man.
You sound fine. I'm looking at the audio. We didn't have to do a mic check, so that's good.
We are batting 1,000 right now.
Batting 1,000. Much like the end of this show, the whole of this show on the whole, feels great.
It is Preparation H. It feels good on the whole.
Good on the whole. We start off. Well, first they're gonna hype up the main event, which is, of course, Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray, because it's an I Quit match. It's for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Yeah, that's going on last, but they're gonna remind us at the very beginning of the show of that fact.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go to James Drake and Zach Gibson, the grizzled young veterans versus the Hunt. That's the Wild Boar Mike Hitchman, the Primate Jay Melrose. This match was, as I will say for the main event, and I'll go ahead and say it now, this match was better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yes.
But that shouldn't surprise me out of the grizzled young veterans, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't expect the Hunt to get quite as much of the offense as they did, especially that hot tag that the Primate got, where he just tore through everybody. But at the same time, I really did expect the grizzled young veterans to win, and they did. But before I knock out a few highlights of this match, Owen, what did you think about the opening tag match?
I really enjoyed it. I really wasn't sure what direction they were going to go with, because it seemed like the grizzled young veterans are transitioning into the US NXT. So I thought maybe this was going to be like their last match, and this would be it in NXT UK. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy how the Hunt are like those savage animals that just like to tear into everybody, and the grizzled young veteran traditional tag team. I definitely enjoyed the line that Aiden English said when he said that he wanted to hang out with them because they called him a chiseled young veteran. I laughed at that. I thought that was funny.
That was clever.
And I was actually shocked the grizzled young veterans ended up winning, because I thought they would put over the Hunt. But really no complaints about this match. It was very easy to watch, and I thought the right team won.
Jerry?
Well, he says grizzled young veterans didn't really put over the Hunt, but they kind of did. Like they got a lot of offense in, and they actually looked really good in this match. It was basically because the grizzled young veterans made them look really good in this match. There's a lot of comedic elements in this match as well, which I thought was great, because anytime you get to see like Zach Gibson or James Drake do anything funny in the ring, it takes away from their seriousness for just that second. And
just long enough you can appreciate it.
Yeah. And they don't overdo it. It's like very subtle. It's very subtle British humor. So, but very physical match. The right team won, Grizzled Young Veterans. But at the same time, this actually made the Hunt look more credible in their pursuit of the NXT UK tag titles. And that's what I think the whole purpose of this match was, since Grizzled Young Veterans are probably going to be spending a lot more time in the States. They're going to need more established teams. You think they're going to push to Pretty Fucking Deadly at this point? It's not going to happen. So I was very pleased with this match. I really was.
I'm hoping what we see is a trade-off. You know, if the Grizzled Young Veterans really are moving to NXT, maybe there's a tag team in NXT that can move over to NXT UK for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, maybe there's a tag team in WWE. They could go to NXT UK for a while, you know, just to shift around the roster a little bit, keep things fresh. I am not opposed to that. This match, however, there were some fresh spots.
Yeah.
I like Primate starting to work in these Primate moves. He does these, I call them gorilla clubs. Like, he's clubbing the back of, it's probably James Drake, because it's always James Drake.
James Drake always takes a lot of punishment.
Clubbing the back of somebody, just like you would expect a Primate to do. And then he follows, you know, he comes in off the hot tag, and he does a couple of those Primate slap and then run lariats into the corner. One of them, James Drake begs off. He's like, no, 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 and he still catches it.
Yep.
And then he spears Gibson for a near fall. And then the Hunt break up the Grizzled Young Veterans, trying to keep each other from getting suplexed by holding hands. There's a lot of hand holding on the Grizzled Young
Yes,
Veterans.
it's like Zach Gibson more or less drags James Drake back into the corner for a tag.
Yeah, at one point he goes over and he keeps the Wild Boar from doing his running senton by just putting his arm through the ropes and like, stop, man, stop. And then he grabs James Drake by the hand and leads him to the corner to make the tag.
Is that even legal? I don't think it is, but it's fine.
But you know, they trade back, and James Drake does the James Drape and drapes across the quarter to keep Zach Gibson from getting splashed at the quarter. You know, it's just fun little things.
If I haven't mentioned it yet, the James Drape thing, very nice.
You're welcome. Yeah, somehow I thought of that.
Yep, it happens.
Let's see. Somebody hits a power bomb into Drake. Oh, okay. So Wild Boar and Hitchman, they hit a attitude adjustment, not a Death Valley driver, a literal attitude adjustment, a throw into a Batista bomb. Like,
I always wanted to see that move actually done by Cena and Batista.
Who knew that this was going to be?
Yeah, but
yeah. That would have been awesome.
Somehow, though, the Grizzled Young Veterans get the upper hand. They take Mike Hitchman out, and then they hit Jay Melrose with the ticket to Mayhem, 1, 2, 3. And that's what you expected, you know? Really, honestly. These two teams, I mean, the Grizzled Young Veterans have been beating the Hunt, like, from end post to end post.
I was about to say, the Hunt's been there since the beginning, and so have the Grizzled Young Veterans, more or less.
More or less, yeah.
Because Zach Gibson started off as a singles wrestler, and James Drake did as well, but then they just teamed over, like, common enemies, and that's what ended up happening.
So, good match.
Also, the Hunt happened, like, Mike Hitchman's been there since the beginning, because there was a stint where he was wrestling singles as a jobber, and then Melrose got signed, and... you know,
now they job together.
Now they job together. So we get a video promo for Rich Holland. I was going to call him...
Luke Menzies.
There's the name. Luke. I remembered the Menzies part. Who can forget? So we were looking up wrestler names the other night.
Because we were trying to find out the hot referee's name.
Yes, the hot new blonde/brunette. I think they're making her grow her brunette hair out. They're probably slowly dyeing it from the roots. So it doesn't look like they're like, hey, you can't be blonde.
You can't have more than one blonde female wrestler.
I fully expect them to put her on whatever diet they put Jessica on to get her to gain weight around the midsection. I fully expect it because they don't want the refs to look better than the wrestlers.
Nope.
And this chick is pretty hot. So we were trying to find out who she was, and nobody knows. At least not yet. It's not updated.
Not
anywhere.
on Wikipedia.
But we did find out that Ridge Holland's real name is Luke Menzies, and we remember Luke Menzies. The last time we saw him, I think it was some kind of multi-man match. It might have been a battle royal, but he had on trunks. It might have been the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, come to think of it. Anyway, he had on trunks with blood red on them, and I'm like, wrong color. Black trunks with red. It was some. I was like, that's not right for a guy named Menzies. That probably means something different where you come from. But anyway.
But I'm gonna say this right now. It's probably the greatest repackaging that the NXT UK has done thus far.
Because until we did our digging, I had no idea.
Nope.
I'm sure he's put on a lot of weight since then anyway. But anyway, so he's wrestling next week. First match we get announced for next week, and I'm all aboard. We are subsequently going to get 3 more matches announced, so we're going to get a full card announced for the week in advance. First time I've seen this happen in a long fucking time. So anyway, well, we already knew the main event.
Yeah, Walter versus Master.
So okay, so this would be the second match. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jack Stars comes out. Who's he jobbing to this week?
Oh no!
They talk about how he's learned so much, and he's learned a lot through his
He's
failures.
learned a lot from his
and-
losses. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a good thing, because that's all he's gotten here. He is 0 for whatever. 0 for infinity.
Oh, for Walter slap at this point.
And then Cassius Ohno comes out. We knew this match was going to happen. This was the graphic they had for the show. And I'm like, really? Cassius Ohno versus Jack Stars? Yay. And it was pretty much what you expected. Yay. I have one note.
They pretty much like built it up by saying that Cassius Ohno had gone to the Performance Center and like was talking trash to Jack Stars, and Jack challenged him to a match.
They didn't even have contrived footage for this.
No, they didn't.
They just said this is what happened.
They did. They uploaded that on the YouTube channel like earlier in the week.
Okay.
Cassius Ohno
That's all fine and good, but for those of us that don't follow that, they should have played it here. They've had plenty of time. So anyway.
Owen, did you ever see Jack Stars actually winning this match?
Not really. Jack Stars has pretty much been, booked as enhancement talent because that's what he is. Wasn't really much of a fan of this match. I'm not really a big fan of Cassius Ohno. I hate his new gimmick because his new gimmick, I think, is just basically an excuse so he could just not have to work on his cardio and do absolute less. He doesn't do anything now. All he does is the chain wrestling. I noticed too, like Jack Stars tries to go down to do that spot where he does the handstand in the corner, and he's gonna put his feet out so that way Cassius Ohno can run at him. But Cassius Ohno's like, I don't want to run, so he just kicks his leg out.
No, he kicks his arm and his wrist that's holding him up on the ropes, so he comes down, but then he is holding onto his wrist like, who was it, the long-legged chick? Was it Kelly? Somebody used to do that. Stacy Keibler.
Yeah.
The foot choke in the corner, much like people would do that. He was doing that with his wrist, but the wrist wasn't in the corner. And I'm like, that doesn't look right.
No.
Doesn't look like... Yeah, anyway. I know the spot you're talking about, and it ended up looking botched to me. He eventually scooted into the corner, but by then it was too late.
Yes.
I have one note for this match. The Cassius clutch for the tap out. That's it.
The hero's welcome.
To me, there wasn't anything.
It's a great submission move. I love it.
Yeah. So that's what happened to that match.
Like I was actually waiting for Jack Stars to actually pull off the upset in this match because I think it would have added a little bit more to the Cassius Ohno character and like him having to reestablish himself as a wrestling genius.
I think Jack Stars got a roll up pinfall or a near fall at
2
1
3
point.
quarters.
But no, yeah, Cassius Ohno won, and there was no
I
aftermatch
like
here.
this match though that they because on the YouTube clip he was trying to show him how to do like a head scissors, so Jack Stars actually counted it in this match, which I kind of thought was a nice callback to that story.
Cool.
So watch the YouTube video if you haven't watched this match yet, and then watch the match. It's more context, I guess.
Cool. Okay, so we're on to an interview with Isla Dawn. And I don't know what the fuck she said. She's talking about Valkyrie.
Yeah,
she's got a match with her next week. A la match number 3 for next week. And I'm just going to call her Valkyrie because I'm not even going to try and pronounce the first name. Hopefully they just get rid of it soon.
They probably will.
Isla versus Valkyrie next week.
Well, they might not get rid of the first name because people could get confused because Taya Valkyrie could be coming in soon. So then people will get confused, between the two Valkyries.
And those call both Valkyries.
Valkyrie 1, Valkyrie 2, whatevs. So that's what we're getting next week.
Isla Dawn's
it's going to
totally
be a
gonna
sexy ass match, but
Yeah.
I think Isla Dawn loses here. You think so, Owen?
Yeah, absolutely. She's pretty much enhancement talent.
Fodder.
I have no interest in Isla Dawn unless she turns heel or something, because this promo was not good at all.
Best thing she does is the undercleavage. Travis Banks gets his own selfie promo here. He is challenging Alexander Wolf for a match next week. Match number 4, folks. And he basically Alexander Wolf got in his business or some shit. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, they're talking backstage and or he's being interviewed backstage. And Alexander Wolf just kind of looked him down like
last week,
like the rest of us do.
It was forgettable shit. This was too. However, I think Alexander Wolf easily gets this win. Come on, it's Travis Banks.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you hit Alexander Wolf in the right spot, he's out of the match.
Well, if you hit. Obviously,
if Travis Banks hits the ramp, he's out of the match.
Obviously, Travis Banks is out of the match at some point next week. So maybe it's an easy bet because maybe the match has to get called because who knows? What is his injury? Does anybody know?
No.
Owen, what do you think? Banks or Wolf?
I think it's easily Alexander Wolf. Since Banks is probably going to get injured. I don't know if he's going to get injured during the match or before the match or whatever. I find it kind of funny because it's two guys that are technically injured right now going at it because Alexander Wolf got knocked out at Worlds Collide. I'm not really sure how these tapings work, though, because this was all taped before Worlds Collide, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't know about this one. This might be a fresh round.
I'm pretty sure this is was taken right afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
But, yeah...
So I guess Alexander Wolf's okay, but yeah, this is going to be, I feel like it's going to be Alexander Wolf. I think Travis Banks would put up somewhat of a fight, but I think it's easily Alexander Wolf.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to put up a hell of a fight.
Mm-hmm. He just
with
won't
all his
win.
Kicks and other kicks.
His kicks and his
what they call a very game Travis Banks.
Yes. A-Kid versus Brian Kendrick. I'm sorry, the Brian Kendrick.
The Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, not just any Brian Kendrick.
The Brian Kendrick.
This was kind of fun. I liked the finisher to end the match. Jerry liked the roll through, the float over in the finish to win the match. Why don't you just tell us what you liked about this match, Jerry?
I like the float over of the DDT in this match.
What else?
I like the fact that we had the rookie against what they kept referring to as Brian Kendrick as the wily veteran. You can tell there was like a lot of respect in this match between the two because they're just trading spots back and forth, and it was just a great cruiserweight match. And I'm not sure if A-Kid's ever going to win the cruiserweight title, especially considering who's holding it right now. But I think he's well on his way of actually establishing himself as a front runner, at least for the belt. I initially wasn't on board with A-Kid, but after seeing that almost like tilt-a-whirl arm bar thing he did, yeah, sold.
Yeah, he hit it like Sin Cara does. I think it's Sin Cara. What do you think about this match, Owen?
I thought it was very good. This is another one. Maybe they need to stop setting up these matches via the YouTube clips because not a lot of people are watching them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, don't get as invested. So maybe that's something that needs to kind of go away. It's AEW is kind of having the same problem a little bit, but because this was A-Kid met his hero, the Brian Kendrick, and the Brian Kendrick was being really rude to him. So that's how this match was set up. And they kept saying throughout this match, never meet your hero, because that's what happened to A-Kid, and his hero was rude to him. But really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Kendrick's style. I liked how he was working on the neck of A-Kid. I enjoyed the moonsault off the steps. I enjoyed the finish, too. I thought it was a nice, smooth transition. He countered the captain's hook into, the DDT, the springboard DDT. I really enjoyed that, and it was a nice way for A-Kid to get a win because he needed to start getting a win. He needed to show that he was more than just the protege or whatever the students of Tyler Bate, and I feel like he showed that in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brian starts working on his neck, by the way, with a sick move. He just grabs A-Kid's arm and dives through the ropes and just pulls A-Kid into the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Neck first into that top rope. That was great. Doesn't get him much of anything. At one point, he does catch A-Kid up top, and he kicks the rope to trip him up and make him fall, crotch first on the ropes, and then hits him with a tiger suplex. Still doesn't get the win. Ends up, like you said, he had him in that Captain Hook. The Captain Hook.
The Captain's Hook.
And he gets out of it, and he springboards off of the ropes, holding on to Brian's arm, and then backflips into a DDT and then right through the DDT rolls into a cover, grabs one leg, and 1, 2, 3. AK gets the victory. And earned. But I will give him credit for that because I don't put a lot of stock into the Brian Kendrick because I don't see him a lot.
Yeah.
So sure, he can beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a good victory as opposed to another jobber. So, all right, I'm okay with this.
Mm-hmm.
Video promo for Dave Mastiff. He faces Walter next week for the NXT UK Championship. And he can talk as much game as he wants to talk.
But he is fucking gonna lose.
He was talking about how Walter represents like greed and want, but then he says that he wants that title so bad he needs it, and I'm like,
that's greedy.
Didn't you just you said you don't stand for what Walter stands for. But anyway, I look forward to the match because it will get Walter and a championship defense out of the way until we get to a substantial pay-per-view.
Versus Finn Balor.
Hopefully we see something big like him versus Finn Balor.
Who we met in Toronto.
Put that in at 1945. That brings us to the main event.
I want to talk about the Dave Mastiff match coming up.
Oh, that's fine.
Ruin the fluidity, Owen. Go ahead. Go ahead, my friend. For you, dude.
Oh!
I like the video package. I thought, it was decent enough. I'd be more excited for this match if this was the Dave Mastiff that was like undefeated and wrecking shop, and if this was happening at a takeover, maybe he would have a chance of winning. But I think especially after what happened with the USA version of NXT last night. Last night because this is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think Walter's winning. It is going to be cool to see him hit that powerbomb, though, if he can, on Dave Mastiff.
Yeah, I didn't think to make predictions on that match. I just figured, Walter's winning.
Well, do we think the ring is going to collapse?
That would be awesome. I think we were speculating about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let the ring collapse on some sort of big spot, like Walter maybe superplexing Mastiff, and then have to have
power bombs him off the top rope like you did the Pete Dunne.
Or the ref gets taken out and the rest of Imperium come out and help him do a Tower of Doom spot onto Dave Mastiff. Then the ring collapses. Then an alternate ref runs out and makes the count.
That's fine. Cool. That's fine too.
Cool. Anyway, that brings us to the main event.
Win.
Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray. I Quit match for the NXT UK Women's Championship. This match was better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yes, leagues.
Wasn't like great. Maybe a little great, but not really great. But it's certainly better than I thought it was going to be. I like the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Really like the ending. I was a little bit confused by the ending as well, which kind of takes away from the potential greatness.
Mm-hmm.
But we will get into all of that. I want Owen to be able to say his thoughts first.
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoyed the I Quit match. This was the first time I think the WWE alone has done an I Quit match since Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar in 205 Live, I think. But don't quote me on that, but I think that's the first time we've seen. It's the first time any of the NXT brands have done an I Quit match, which I think is kind of special. And this match, obviously, Wellington it. I thought it was kind of cool they didn't have it like the traditional I Quit match where the ref had the microphone and they had to say it into the mic. But it was kind of weird though, because like if you're in the crowd though, like how can they hear if they say I quit? So they must have the speakers up or something. So
I would say the only person it really matters to is the person that calls for the bell, and that is the referee. So as long as the referee can hear it, when you hear the bell is called for, you'll find out from the ring announcer what happened, or the timekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very interesting. It was it wasn't as brutal as I thought it was going to be, which I was a little disappointed about. But I guess you got to build up to that type of stuff because the most brutal thing that happens in this match is I think Toni Storm putting Kaylee Ray through the table.
Nope, I disagree. I think the most brutal thing of this match happened at the end, and that's the reason that you couldn't be too brutal throughout the match, is because then that doesn't look as bad as it had to seem in order for Toni Storm to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is going to finally now, maybe not in the future, maybe not in the recent future, but I think this is going to be the match that causes Tony Storm to snap and turn heel. Is right here. And I really enjoyed it. It was a great blow off to the feud. And I definitely think this shows signs that the booking of NXT UK has definitely changed, because I hated this feud, and all of a sudden I feel if supposedly it's true, Shawn Michaels takes over the booking and he actually made me care about this feud. So I actually kind of think that definitely shows the booking's changed in NXT UK.
I think this is most definitely the match that turns Toni Storm heel. The next time we see her, she's going to be in the ring either with or comes out after, or that person comes out after. A certain person is going to be in the ring with her, and she is going to attack the shit out of her. That's all I'm saying. Jerry, your thoughts on the main event?
I wasn't expecting a lot going into this. I never do with Toni Storm matches, but Toni Storm actually showed us some gumption tonight. If you want to go with that. Super vicious in this match, especially towards the beginning there. The finish with the steel chair and everything, that was just beautiful, because it seemed like it was almost like a three steps to paralysis kind of thing, because if she had went for that third move with the chair around her neck, that would have been it. But I enjoyed this. We got to see a little bit of bondage action at the same time, which that's always nice. Colin made the comment because he actually texted me.
We'll
get to that.
Let me lay out this match, because
Yeah.
you're starting to get into territory that we want to talk about and expound upon after it. Because if you haven't seen the match and we're the ones that are giving you the results, I want this to come a little bit organically. So my first note here is Storm catching Kaylee Ray, who's coming off the rope. She's springing off the middle rope, trying to do something, but instead, Toni Storm just grabs her up by the back and German suplexes her. Thought that was really cool. Let me just say this. Even if I'm not impressed by Toni Storm in the ring, the very least, when I have to sit through her matches, I know that I get to stare at her ass for a while. I'm just going to say that. Kaylee Ray, at one point, gets Toni Storm in the gory bomb, but she plays it really smart. The first gory bomb she does into the top rope.
Yeah.
Again, working over the neck and the head, and then grabs her back up, and instead of a gory bomb, she does a gory special, trying to get her to quit. So I'm like, that's brilliant, because why hit the gory bomb? You're not going to make her quit that way.
No.
But you could make her give up with a submission. Let's see. Storm hits a splash on Kaylee Ray through the table, because the crowd started chanting, "We want tables," when she started lifting the ring skirt, and I'm sitting there thinking, it's Toni Storm, she's super babyface, give the crowd what they want.
Well, even then there was a kendo stick over there too that they could have used, but it's whatever.
It's whatever. And Kaylee Ray catches Storm trying to do a tope suicida, and she kicks her in the shoulder and then pulls her out and does a draping DDT to the outside. And at that point I'm like, man, this match might be over. She throws her back in the ring, and she had fished out some trainer's tape from underneath the ring, and she gets in the ring and she starts taping her arms behind her back. And she does a really good job of it, and when she was taping her up, I knew that this tape was not coming off. This was the last time Toni Storm was going to be able to use her arms, because she started taping around one wrist first and did it several times so it wouldn't come off. Somebody taught her that. And then you come over to the other one, do it several times, and then you do them together so that shit's not coming loose by accident.
Yeah.
Because, you're going to continue working this match, and they did. In fact, she goes outside after taping her up to get a chair, and when she gets in, before she can swing the chair, Toni Storm hits her with one of those famous headbutts.
And that just pisses Kaylee Ray off.
Yeah. And then she attacks her again, and she sets her across the chair that's set up with her neck draped over the end, and super kicks the chair. That was pretty cool. And then ties the chair up around her neck, and she steps on it, wrenching down on the neck. Toni Storm won't give up. So she stomps on it, and Toni Storm won't give up. She gets up on the middle rope to stomp on it, and at this point, for some reason, Piper Niven comes out, and the commentary is quick to mention.
By that time, also, Sid Scala and Johnny Saint have arrived.
Oh, yeah,
as
they've
well.
been out there for a moment, like, hey, wait, come on, what up? And she's like, you guys signed this contract, bitches. Shut up and watch, But yeah, Piper Niven comes out, and she's begging Toni Storm to give up, and Kaylee Ray comes off the middle rope, stomps on it again. Toni Storm still won't give up. So Kaylee Ray goes to the top rope, and she's getting ready to come down to stomp on it.
She actually pulled the chair back through her neck because initially it was like right on her chest.
Oh, so there you go. And I'm sitting here thinking this is an I Quit match. There's no disqualifications. If Piper Niven was really that worried, she shouldn't be sitting there trying to get Toni Storm to give up and save herself. She should be getting in the ring and beating up Kaylee Ray.
Pretty much.
But whatever.
Plot hole.
Yeah, big plot hole. Big plot hole. That's all I'm going to say about her. Anyway, Toni Storm gives up before Kaylee Ray can jump off the top. If I was Kaylee Ray, I'd have jumped off the top anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they should have done that as well. I think they should have had Piper Niven like get up on the apron and try and like maybe not physically, but try and keep Kaylee Ray from doing it, and Kaylee Ray just be like, okay, and then kick her in the face, knock her off, and then jump for the middle rope, or
have her have her scream "I quit" as like Kaylee's like mid-air.
Yeah, something. I'm okay with the ending. It helps, but again, there's that big plot hole, and
I think they're now just conditioning Piper Niven to take a run for the belt as well.
I think it's time to rate this bitch.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the plot hole is going to be the catalyst of Toni Storm turning heel. Like, you sat there and watched me get beaten down.
Pretty much.
Doing that, so.
And begged me to quit, so I quit, and it's on you. So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see if they'll follow up with that.
That actually makes a little more sense. I'm happier with that now.
Well, here on the NXT party, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned NXT. Out of 5 spots of NXT, Owen, where do you rate tonight's main event?
So the storyline was really interesting because these were two people that have been feuding since the summer, and obviously longer if you watched probably their earlier stuff and all that type of stuff, and they have the history. And this was a big blow-off. It was the first I Quit match in, let's say, 3 years. And it was a different type of I Quit match. It was nice and brutal. It had a nice story behind it. The finish was awesome. I'm going to give it 4, and I'm going to give it an extra quarter stars off the back of a great show, because the only things I really didn't enjoy was the Cassius Ohno stuff and, like, some of the Isla Dawn promos, but really, that was it. I thought the show flowed very well. It went by really quickly. So I'm going to give it 4 and a quarter.
Jerry?
All right. So this morning we talked about NXT, and our main event for that was Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. And I believe this match kicked the living hell out of the Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair match.
This is true.
So, judging by that, the storyline leading up to this match, the stipulation for this match, all the drama surrounding it, the brutality of the match, the fact that I could actually tolerate Toni Storm in it for the first time in seemingly forever. I'm going to have to go with Owen on this one. I'm going to say 4 for that. And then just off knowing what he was talking about, how it's the first I Quit match, NXT UK, possibly NXT, and it's done by 2 chicks in England. Why not give it an extra quarter just on that? So 4 and a quarter for me as well.
I don't know if I can start this match at 4. To me, 4 is great. Was this great? Like the ending, I feel like the ending would have made it great. It would have put it over the top if it hadn't been for Piper Niven coming out and not trying to do something about Kaylee Ray.
But like that's the reason Owen turned me around on it, was the fact that now that does actually set up for, Tony to say, Piper, you didn't help.
It could still set up for that, because she might not have been able to help much, but she could have tried. Anyway, I think I'm going to give it 3 3/4.
Yep.
And an extra quarter star, because Owen convinced me, because other than Cassius Ohno versus Jack Stars, this was a pretty good show.
It was an entertaining show.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 4 and stay there. I just don't feel like I can give it any more than that.
That's still good.
Maybe that's my bias against Toni Storm, but I mean, her ass pretty well balances out the bias. Just saying, it's heavy enough. The scales of justice are balanced there. I'm gonna go with 4.
Why I like Toni Storm so much as champion, was because of her ass. So.
Well, anybody with the internet can see so much more, but I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, everybody out there, for joining us for the NXT party. Thank you, Owen, for joining us. If you'd like to join us for a future episode, hopefully next week we'll be having my sociology professor on. That should be really cool. He is very old school. He's been around wrestling for decades. In the meantime, if you would like to be on a future episode, you can leave it in the comments, a way for us to get a hold of you, and we will, and you can join the NXT team. And
be in a group chat and get a cool nickname and all that jazz.
Yeah. Meanwhile, thank you, Owen, for doing the show with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on. If they want to find you out there in the internet universe, where can they look?
You can find me on my 3 YouTube channels. First being Wrestling Fortune 44. It's all one word, and the spelling. So obviously you should know how to spell wrestling if you're looking for a wrestling YouTube channel, because I would expect wrestling fans to know how to spell wrestling. If they
RASSLIN. Wrestling.
And then Fortune is FORTUNE, and then obviously the numbers 44. And then you can subscribe to Owen the Talkinator. For some reason it's 2 words because YouTube set it up that way. So it's Owen, OWEN, the, and then Talkinator, TALKINATOO. That's my non-wrestling YouTube channel where I post all my non-wrestling things. And we're trying to work on it, but Colin Andrew, the Cleaver, may be making an appearance on that channel. We're gonna,
awesome.
Me, him, and my cousin will be making a top 10. It will be 2 separate videos, but top 10 best scenes and episodes of Breaking Bad. So we're looking forward to doing that. And then CM Brothers, which is just basically a mixture of everything. That's CM and then space Brothers, BROTHERS. And that's basically where I just post everything. I'm coming on to, I believe it's my 400th video on there, so we're going to do a special video for that.
Awesome.
At some point.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything.
No Twitter, no Facebook?
I mean, I don't have Twitter because I forgot my account, and like you, I try to keep my Facebook away from YouTube because I get a lot of bots. So.
Okay, well, that's where you can find him. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
at Gerald_JSJ. My Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR. Exclamation point. I'm really liking this whole forearm and fist thing. We did it this morning, and I've been thinking about it all day, and it's just awesome. But we also have Aftermatch Wrestling on Facebook, a group you can join. That's public. You can join us there, or Aftermatch_Wrestling Instagram page. Colin the Cleaver Andrew runs. He's all over our stuff.
Yeah, you can find both of us on Instagram. Me at Osborne.Stefan. I don't have any content, but you're welcome to follow me. You can find him.
The_gentleman_slaughter.
And you can find us on Patreon if you're able to help the channel at Stefan R. Osborne. Although, if you just have some time, that would be the best help. If you like the video, click the like button over here. And if you like all of our videos, do yourself a favor, click the subscribe button over there. And if you missed us going live today for What's NXT, our NXT review, we do that every week now. And if you want to get notified, click that bell icon and it will let you know when we go live, and you can join us then if you'd like. Otherwise, if you want to help our channel grow, click that share button and share us on Facebook and Twitter. Direct message us to people that you know that might like watching us if they like wrestling.
Put us in Pornhub.
You never know. One day I walked into class and my professor walked in with an NXT UK sweatshirt on. You never fucking know. So if you want to help the channel grow, just share. Just a quick share. You don't even have to write anything. Just share it to all of your social media. Please! Okay. Enough begging.
Watch these guys talk about wrestling and stuff.
Or just, share. Anyway, that's all the shameless plugs. For the Talkinator, the Birdman of Boston, Owen Finch, for the General, the Gentleman, Jerry Slaughter. I'm the Wizard of No DQ. I'm Wiz Fresh. Eat fresh. Pop, pop. Thank you for having a spot of NXT with us, and we will see you NXT time.